Hello there, it's that time again. It's yet another operating system birthday, and this time it's the turn of Windows 95, which turns 30 today. Windows 95 could definitely be considered a bit of a revolution, as it introduced many features that have impacted computing all the way till today. It introduced new features such as recycle bin, folders, shortcuts, long file names, plug and play hardware, the taskbar, and of course the Start menu, the star of the show of Windows 95. This replaced the Program Manager in Windows 3.1 and is still with us to this very day in Windows 11. Well, except for that one time nobody talks about. Just like XP, Windows 95 had some star power behind it, including legends such as the Rolling Stones, who lent their song Start Me Up to the new OS. And even Weezer had a look in. As well as some help from Matthew Perry and Jennifer Aniston, Jay Leno, and some of the worst dad dancing you've ever seen. Seriously, this actually happened. Go on, Bill, have a dance. The launch event of the operating system was a massive success, with 1 million copies shipped worldwide in just 4 days. Apparently, by the end of 1998, Windows 95 was the most used desktop OS with 57.4% of the market share, with its successor Windows 98 coming in second at 17.2%. Now, in case you're wondering what we're going to do for this video, it is going to be the Ultimate 95 machine, but with a twist. Rather than doing what I did before with such as the Ultimate XP and Ultimate 98 machine, I'm going to be doing the Ultimate 95 machine for parts that were released in 1995, that is to say, what was available when this operating system came out. For the research for this, I'll be using such sites as DOS Days, the Retro Web, Wikipedia, and others. But I think I've done enough rambling anyway. I think we need to get on with the video, so start me up and let's go. Right, well, as usual, there are some parts to show off. I wanted to put them all in shot, but I couldn't. They're just literally physically too big to fit in shot. They sort of like fill it up to here on the camera or something. The parts I did get, there have been some compromises. There have been some issues cropping up, and I've tried to get what I thought was the best parts possible. As I probably mentioned in the video, I've used DOS Days, general research to try and find these. Hopefully they meet your approval, but then again, I don't know. This is my project, so it's kind of what I want. Now let's have a look at the motherboard. Now this was from the US, and this actually does have a problem. I waited for a while to get this, and it arrived, and mostly it's okay. It's an AT board, obviously. Definitely says 1995 on the BIOS chip there. So we've got the right era. What's interesting is it looks like it has a VRM, at least points to put one on at least. But you probably think, well, where's the catch? Unfortunately, the problem appears to be down here. Now, you can sort of see it on the back, but that is damage, and that's been incurred during shipping because, as you know, the US Postal Service loves to make footballs out of our equipment. And if you have a look on that side, I don't actually know what that's gone into, because if you look where these paths go from, they go from here all the way up, and I think they're going into that. Now that's the keyboard controller, so I'll test this, and if I get no keyboard, we'll know pretty much that's what it affected. But I mean, for the most part though, the board arrived intact, and it is fairly fully featured. I mean, I tried to look for boards that had like the most features possible, like we have a course module slot there, as well as we have 4 PCIs, some of them had 3. It's got an onboard controllers, that's good as well. What's interesting though is once you get into 1996, the AT boards inherited, like, I think it's SD RAM, or at least it's 72-pin SIMs. Good board. Hopefully it works. Fingers crossed. And of course, to go with that, we have some RAM. Apparently no, I've looked at the order sheet for this, and this is actually 72-pin. There's 128 megabytes in there, folks. I looked up the maximum memory amount that was generally available in 1995, and that's it. If you wanted to be balling, if you wanted to spend a whole bunch of money, you could get this type of RAM, or rather this amount of RAM. So that other thing I must have mentioned must have been SD RAM. Anyway, so yeah, 128 megabytes of RAM you will want for nothing with this. Not forgetting, of course, one of the most important things, we cannot have a machine without this, and I forgot to take the shipping label off. Oops. But yeah, so this is the coast module, or cache on a stick. It's faster than putting those individual chips in there, and I believe this one is, yep, 512K. Not bad, but this is the goodie, this is the interesting thing. It's a Pentium 133. I won't actually take it out of the box just yet because I have another one that's dead. And it looks like this. Yeah, this one is the dead one from the DOS console, which arrived dead, didn't work. But I'm not going to take the risk with that one, so this one is staying in the packet until I need it. And of course I've got a cooler for it. This, of course, the fan is a modern one because I couldn't find anything else. I actually stole this off the old chip from the original 98 machine. But it'll do fine enough, and hopefully it won't be too noisy. I might have to put a fan speed reducer on it because it was a little bit obnoxious in the other machine. Next up is our video card, and as you can see, it's a Matrox Millennium. See, I wrote it right on there. Let's have a look at it. See, I even put it in an anti-static bag. I don't think it arrived this way, but people, if you're going to ship cards and things, electronics, put it in an anti-static bag. Top tip. And there we are. Sadly for 1995, Voodoo didn't exist yet, but this apparently is one of the best that you can get, or the best card. You can even expand the RAM even further on there. Now, it comes with 4 megabytes, which should be enough. Maybe I should have gotten the RAM expansion, maybe we can do that later, but look at that beauty. Great condition, no rust on it. I don't actually have any experience with Matrox cards, but I mean, I guess they'll work just fine. Not quite sure what that is, unless that's some expansion connector. I'll have to look into that, but yeah, that's interesting. Now, in this star box, we have a really, really good piece of equipment. Let me just show you this one. Can you tell what it is yet? Oh, don't worry, I'll get it out for you. This, ladies and germs, this right here is an O32. Now, I was kind of like unsure as to what to get because I wanted to sort of know the best sound card from 1995, and this and the Gravis ultrasound came up. Now, I wanted a Gravis because I thought of all the wavetable effects and all this other good stuff that it does, but then I looked at the price, and yeah, they're a bit expensive for like an original, and they are about as long as this. This is a long boy. This is what's known as a full-length card as well. In some cases, it goes all the way from the slot to the back to a bracket at the front. And more than likely, what I've got for it, it will actually do that. But this one I managed to get for a decent price. This is the good one with a lot of the bells and whistles. And actually, if you look at it, this one was made in 1995, even though this did originate in 94. Hang on, I'll just put it down. I don't feel right handling this. I had considered getting like a Pico Gus. As much as that idea would have been brilliant, it's kind of restrictive, and plus it doesn't actually have what this has on the end here. I wanted a card with a genuine game port to not only look the part, but I've also got some game port style game pads I want to put in here. So, well, that's what you need. The other one just has a USB port, which is great because if you want to put like modern flight sticks or, you know, game pads or joysticks, whatever you want to call them in, that's great. But for this, I wanted the proper game port experience. But one thing I kind of regret not getting is I didn't get any expansion RAM, but if it works, that's kind of fine. That's all I really need for this. And now might be a good time to tell you about some goodies from our partner, PCBway. PCBway is the one-stop shop for PCB manufacturing. They have a great variety of solutions for your PCB projects, with build service available if needed, for prices starting at only $5. But that's not all. PCBway also provide other manufacturing services such as CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, 3D printing, and injection molding. And if that wasn't enough, why not check out their shared projects section? You might just find what you're looking for, like these really cool Christmas ornaments. So why not check out PCBway.com for all your PCB needs. Don't delay, buy today. Alright, so what did we get this time? Well, so this is a voltage blaster. This is a project by YouTube user Phil's Computer Lab and Necroware, and apparently the Wizard as well. I'm going to be using a modern power supply because I don't really trust the one that's in there. It's an old AT power supply, 220 watts. It's been used probably for years. You know, I can't really trust it as far as I could chuck it, honestly. The unfortunate problem with that is because those power supplies no longer have -5 volts, means things that like the sound card I showed you just before are not going to work. So in steps this thing, which is a really, really simple device made up of a regulator, an LED, 2 capacitors and a resistor. And this plugs into an ISA slot, and because of course ISA slots are all shared, it means they take the voltages that come out of there, the positive voltages, and turn it around and give you that -5. So it means that just any slot will do, and all of a sudden your power supply can now provide -5 volts, indirectly of course. So your sound cards work. Such a blissfully simple invention, but it saves a lot of headaches. And so I've got 5 of these for other projects. But thank you again to PCBway for making these happen. To that end as well, we also have an adapter which will take a standard ATX power supply to AT as well. Remember kids, black always goes to the centre or boom. And then that just goes to the switch at the front. And just for the moment, the last bit I'm going to introduce is this. This is a drive caddy, because with the machine being the way it is and the era it's from, there's no easy way to get data onto and off it. You can put stuff on CDs, you can probably set up an FTP server with an Ethernet card, but what I'm going to do here is a bit clever. So it is just your standard sort of beige kind of mobile rack caddy sort of situation. It wouldn't look out of place on a PC like this. But basically what I plan to do is not to actually put a big hard drive in here, but I'll be taking off the top and then I'll be putting a drive adapter in here like an SD to IDE, which means that for data transfer all I do is I pull this out, unclick an SD card, probably just something like a gigabyte, put the data onto it, click it back in, put back in there, and you'll never know. It's kind of stealth. You could put another hard drive in here. Often that might be the case. If you're balling, you want some more space, put another drive in. Simples. Now I do actually have other drives like an optical drive and such, but I'll introduce them later because there's just things I need to explain about it. What I really want to show you is the case I've got for this thing, and I think it's a really good one. And here it is. This is the case we're going to be using for the project. See, I was going to try and do it on like a test bench or just do it on a bit of cardboard, or well not cardboard, or acrylic or something, but I thought, well no. This is the 30th anniversary Windows 95 special, let's do it right. As you can see however, it is a little bit grubby and quite a bit yellow, so we'll definitely need to clean it off, because yeah, that's disgusting. That can't be allowed to stand. Key features include LCD screen for the high or low or CPU value. I don't even know what it does yet. Got a lovely green button, 3 5.25" bays, and 2 3.5s, just in case you couldn't count. Round back is the usual sort of AT affair, as the board of course that we have is an AT board, as ATX didn't arrive till a bit later. Comes with a power supply, but I'm not really sure I can trust that as far as I could chuck it. I don't think I can chuck it very well, so that's getting replaced with something else. Probably a more modern power supply, only for the reason, literally only because I don't want it to kill the components in here. I literally don't know what that's like. But what we're actually going to do with this is, of course we're going to clean it, but we're going to actually try and retrobrite it. It's the first time I've ever done that. I've got all the materials, I've got the peroxide, I've got the tub, and apparently tomorrow it's going to be sunny. I got that a while ago, but it seemed the instant I got it, we suddenly entered a cold period, and now we've got a heat wave again. I've got to move fast because I want to do this year. Because in the UK we don't get a lot of sunshine, and this is here now, so take advantage of it. So what I think I'll need to do is I'll tear this down. We might have a quick look inside of it. I think the next steps is going to be cleaning it, and then we're going to try and retrobrite. I mean, nothing to write home about basically. There's your power supply thing in there. Wick with dust though, and what the heck is that? Dust bunny. Yuck. So this is going to be really fun to clean out. I'm not going to dunk the whole thing of course, but this is coming out for sure. Seems I forgot how AT power supplies work. That's actually attached to the front. I'll swing it around for you in just a few seconds. Okay, so I'll have to zoom this in on the edit because it's in an awkward place. That thing here, where that black cable was going to, that actually takes mains up to the front of the PC case. That's right, AT power supplies carry mains to the front of the case. Because that basically is a literal on and off switch. It's not like soft power on that you get with ATX and later. That might be a slight problem because I do actually have an adapter that goes from that to an ATX power supply, but I don't know how that would work, or even actually where it is for that matter. I haven't seen it in a little bit, so we might have to stick with this power supply unfortunately, which is not ideal, but whatever, it's maybe what we have to do. I'll remove it from here so I can take this out. This is proving to be a little bit difficult. Hold on a second. Oh, hang on. Have we got it? No, we don't. Aha! I believe we have got it off. Hold on. Yes! There we go. Should be much easier to relinquish that now. There it is, all disassembled. Am I even zoomed out? Nope, that's as far as I can go. So I've just got to remove these cables from the back and clean off these dust bunnies. But the chassis is also clear and ready, so I can actually clean that off. I'm not going to dunk this in water though, because, well, it's steel and it's going to rust. I'm just going to clean it up with a cloth. But this stuff here, yeah, this is going to be fairly easy to do, because all I'm going to do is just either dump it in a bucket or stick it in the bath. I don't really know. Stand up. This is, for the moment, done. Just needs to be cleaned. Brilliant. And this, well, while it's not going to be thrown away, it's not going to be used in this project. I mean, I don't even know what that is. I'll flip that in the edit and we can have a look, but yeah, you're out of here. Okay, we're ready to wash these things. I've left a few little wires in there because they're glued in. This should be fine. I mean, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. We have had a couple of casualties right there. You can see it? Some of the plastic tabs are broken off. It's not such a big deal because we can glue them back on. Let's get to washing. It's looking better. And there we go. It looks definitely a lot better than it did. Well, at least I think it is. I mean, it's hard to tell without the retrobright, but a lot of little marks have gone. I mean, these cleaned up quite well. At the very least, I'll be okay with touching it now, because it felt absolutely manky before. Let's disassemble that one, and let's get on to the actual testing of that board, because that's going to be quite important. So I got the board ready. I need to test it out because that dent in the bottom may be something, it may be nothing, but I'm just going to put it in a very basic way, like all of the components that I need and pretty much nothing that I don't. May as well populate the RAM. I've also got the adapter with a Pico PSU on it, just so because I've actually forgotten to get the power supply out the other machine. It's the power supply I'm using is stuck in the Ultimate 98 machine. Alright, so let's commence. I'm not sure how you do this. Hang on. Okay, I have found out how to put the RAM in. I was a bit worried at first, but what you got to do is you just got to push it down and click. Don't be nervous now, like I was. Alright, last one. We're going to do this, or we're going to break it. We'll be fine. Ah, there we go. That's pretty much it. How anticlimactic. Alright, I think what we'll do is the CPU next. Remember, I was very nervous about this because of the last CPU that died. So we are unwrapping it on camera. Alright, there we go. There it is. So you can just see that there's no weirdness. Right, okay, let me just see where we need to put this. There's the arm. And the notch is on that corner, so we just match it with a notch on the chip. Not going down all the way. Oh, hold on. You got to open up the arm the whole way. That doesn't work. There we go. CPU is in. Got the CPU cooler, though I'm not actually seeing any sort of fan headers on this, unless I have to use Molex. Yep, that would appear to be the case. So at least it'll function as a heatsink until I can get at my box of supplies. Oh, this is so nerve-wracking because I don't want to destroy anything. Come on. Hang on, nearly got it. Oh god, this is so hard. Well, it's on, it's not super aligned. I think that's gonna be okay. I mean, it'll be good. It's on there enough. And lastly, but not leastly, I'm gonna put the card in. But I can't because it keeps hitting the thing. I've turned it round and put it off the edge of the table, so that's what it looks like. Sharp board ends. Ow! Damn it! It bit me already. Right, remember children, just like I said before, black goes in the centre, or else you have boom. I've just tried to apply the switch and these spade connectors are too small. You're going to have to get re-terminated, which I can probably do. For the moment though, when I want to go and turn it on, I'll just flatten them against the surface, like with a book or something. Which should be good. Alright, so we're going to try it. Is the board completely dead? I don't know. I have a horrible feeling I might have killed this CPU. Because I put my little postcard in there, and basically it all came up flatline. And I know why it probably did, because I have done the stupidest of stupid things. I haven't even checked the board's jumper settings to see if the voltage was set correctly. That is the most basic of schoolboy errors. I could have killed this project at the 11th hour. I cannot believe how stupid I've been. I might just go the whole hog, throw this in the case, not literally throw it, after checking all the jumpers, and if it works, it works, if it doesn't, it doesn't. At least we can build the machine, make it look how it's supposed to look. Wow, that's so stupid. I cannot believe I've done that. Oh. Anyway, I don't have time right now. I've got to go to sleep or something, so speak to you tomorrow. Now we come to the motherboard mounting system, which is these slide-along things here. I've never really used these before. Here's the actual board against the case to show you how they are positioned. I don't have all the points needed, but we'll see how we go. I don't think I really trust this motherboard mounting system. Most of my holes didn't line up, if you pardon the expression. I mean, look at this. It still moves around. That's not good. I mean, hopefully I can get the cards in and that'll secure it a little bit, but damn. Might have to drill some more holes. Fixed it. I just found some extra standoffs. There's one down here as well, and now this board, solid enough. Top right corner isn't fully secure, but it'll have to do. It's gonna be fine. Alright, so I've been using my tweezers and I've set all the jumpers. Turns out it was on the wrong clock speed, as well as the voltage was 3.5 rather than 3.3, which is what this type of pentium is supposed to be. Hopefully it didn't do any damage, but I'm thinking it actually didn't, and I'll go back to the desk in a little bit and explain possibly why that was the case. So yeah. God, I hope it's fine. Anyway, time to install the rest of the stuff. Just noticed something interesting. I've just put the video card in here, but when I sort of line the holes up here, it sort of lifts the top right corner of the board. I assume that's because it was misaligned and this is pulling back to alignment. I'm not really sure. Anyway, continuing. Okay, got the big girl going in now. Very nervous about this one. Put it in about here. Hey, that went in fine. Hey. Huh, interesting. This case looks to be M3. That's not expected. Anyway. Now I need to get the power supply in, because it's still hanging out in the 98 machine, which is just out in shot here. Whew, it's warm today. And I'll get that in and it should be all good. Look at that, it's really coming together. I just hope the damn thing works. Praying it will. Got it. And now just a little chat about the drives I'm going to put in the system. So when trying to find drives for this thing, I was going to an autistic level of detail. And while I did manage to get all of the drives you saw on the table, for example, this one is not quite accurate. I managed to get, like, this is actually an 8x drive, which is the generally the maximum fastest you got in 1995. But unfortunately, I've had to make compromises like this for 1996. Similar to with this drive, I've had to take, well, it's the right capacity because this is 1 GB, which is pretty much the maximum you would have reasonably gotten in 1995. I did see like a flyer from later in the year, like October of 95, which had like 8 GB or 9 GB discs on it. But generally speaking, the information I've found only said it was like 1 GB, so I'm going with that information. It could have been that they were server drives. I mean, 1 or 2 of them said SCSI, so unless I'm wrong, I don't really know. So I played it safe, but yeah, as I say again, 1996. Floppies, however, I didn't even care. Like, basically, dudes, it's a floppy drive. They're all the same. Who cares? And this is pretty much all down to availability. Like, I tried to get what I could. There's no reason why this drive and possibly that hard drive weren't available in 1995. They looked the part. Spec wise, they're pretty much what I need, so if you can get past that, I'm sure. Anyway, let's get them in the case. Alright, okay. So the PC is ready for testing. Everything's connected up that should be. There's no sort of case lights or anything connected up. The drives aren't even connected up. But I just want to see this thing post and then we're done. So 3, 2, 1. Oh, there's power. Okay, so there's lights on. Right, well, okay, I guess it doesn't work. We literally have no more time left. We're right up against the wire. It's another fail. The monitor's on, definitely. I couldn't begin to tell you what's wrong with this. I'm going to have to use a postcard, but I think we're done. Time to go for a bit of a roundup, I guess. Well, I recorded this outro once before, but unfortunately it corrupted, so I'll do it again. So it looks like we have another failure on our hands. I assumed that I was going to break my failure streak, but no, we've got another one. I just literally have no time left to do this. It's already crossing over into the 25th. Luckily, somewhere in the world it will still be the 24th, so it's good enough for me. But that's it for the moment. The Windows 95 machine is unfortunately non-operational, so it's going to be troubleshot at a different point. We'll come back in part 2 and look into the problems. Hopefully it won't be a shelf sitter like a lot of these other projects with only a part 1, because I refuse to keep doing that. Thank you very much for watching, if you did, and you'll see me next time, I guess. Bye bye.